Welcome back, class, to your final video for the day. You will recall that you just watched a video on how to convert from Vertex form to standard form. Okay, so the one example we did is we took 2 times x plus 1 squared plus 4, learned our steps that we will take to convert it to standard form, and we got 2x squared plus 4x plus 6. So in this video, we are just going to practice. So flip to the back side. You'll see that the top 4 examples here, I'm intending for us to walk through together. At any given time, if you're like, I'm getting it, I think I can work on my own, I want you to just keep working on these 4 examples and then make sure you check your answers with the answers that pop up over time. When you get to the bottom half of the worksheet, for sure though, even if you want to follow along for the top 4 examples, I want you to pause the video, try these 4 on your own at the bottom, and then quickly watch to check your answers. When I do the bottom 4, I'm going to go very quickly through them. The top 4, I will start slow and get extra as I go. Okay, so the first example, so we just can continue to see the process. I look at this and I see I have f of x equals negative 2 times x plus 3 squared minus 4. And I remember that I'm going to deal with that exponent first. In order to do that, I'm going to use the box model. Now I'm going to put it up here so that ultimately when I do my work down here, I can just keep working straight down and show how I replace things. Okay? Now x plus 3 squared, I know that's x plus 3 times x plus 3, so I just go straight ahead and put that on the box. I don't usually rewrite it like I did on the last example. X times x is x squared, 3 times x is 3x, x times 3 is 3x, and 3 times 3 is 9. Now when I do this, don't forget that negative 2 out front comes straight down. What we've just done is we have figured out that x plus 3 squared is actually the sum of the things inside this box. It's the same or equal to each other. So instead of x plus 3 squared, I can say it's the same as x squared. And then I have the 3x and 3x. Remember, I'm adding like terms, so 3x plus 3x is 6x. And then I have this 9, so I do plus 9. And then don't forget, bring down that negative 4. So as we go through these problems, this negative 2 comes straight down, and this negative 4 on the end just keeps coming down until I'm ready to use it. Okay, in step 1, I don't use either one. In step 1, I just dealt with that exponent. In step 2, that's when I deal with the green negative 2. And I have to multiply it through the parentheses, which means I'm going to distribute it to the 3 pieces inside parentheses, not to the negative 4. So in my next step, I get f of x equals negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. Negative 2 times 6x is negative 12x. And then negative 2 times 9 is a negative 18. And again, the minus 4 on the end just comes straight down. I have yet to do anything with the minus 4, but you can see I've now dealt with the negative 2. And last but not least, I just need to combine like terms. So I have f of x equals, I only have the negative 2x squared as an x squared term. I leave that. Negative 12x is the only x term. But now I have the negative 18 minus 4, so it's a minus 22. So my final answer is negative 2x squared minus 12x minus 22. And again, really what we're showing is that this original vertex form, negative 2 times x plus 3 squared minus 4, is the same as negative 2x squared minus 12x minus 22. Alright, next one. Once again, I start with the parentheses squared. So up above, I am going to deal with the x minus 4 times the x minus 4. I get x squared minus 4x minus 4x. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Again, I go quicker through some of these steps because you should have had lots of practice with multiplying that today. Now, one thing to be really careful of in this one is there's just this negative in front. I need to make sure I bring it down. So I'm bringing that negative down. And then instead of x minus 4 squared, I'm going to add these terms. X squared, I have a negative 4x, and then negative 4x is negative 8x plus 16. And then don't forget to bring down your plus 1. So if I finish my color coding, again, the yellow highlighted became this. I got my green negative down, and that plus 1 comes down as well. Now the next step I need to get rid of that negative out front, and you may want to, if you're not sure, if you don't remember, I'm going to ultimately distribute that negative through to these three pieces, not to the 1. If it helps, make it a negative 1. It's the same as a negative 1 there. Okay? So I have a negative 1 times x squared is negative 1x squared. Negative 1 times negative 8 is plus 8, and it has an x. And then negative 1 times 16 is negative 16. Don't forget to bring down the plus 1. Okay, so again, the only thing now I haven't dealt with is the plus 1 on the end. So final step, I combine my terms. Negative 1x squared comes down. If you just have negative x squared, that's the same thing. Plus 8x. And then I have a negative 16 plus 1 is a negative 15. Again, the other way you could have written this answer is just negative x squared plus 8x minus 15. That's usually how I would have it. Because I don't put a negative 1 there, but either one would be fine. Alright, moving on to the next one. Now this one I recognize that my parentheses is x minus 4 squared again, which I just did, so I'm still just going to use this box over here to save some time. H of x equals 3, so bring that 3 down. I'm not going to color code as much. We said x minus 4 squared is x squared minus 8x plus 16, and now I bring down the minus 48. Next step, I deal with that 3 in front. I'm going to distribute it through. I have 3x squared minus 24x plus 48. And then don't forget to bring down this minus 48. Last step, I combine like terms. I have my 3x squared. I have my minus 24x. And then I have a plus 48 and a minus 48, so they cancel. So this is my final answer. I messed up on my 2, so let's rewrite it nicely. Minus 24x. So you can see there are times where that constant goes away. Last but not least, again, I will do this one without any coloring because usually I wouldn't do it. I start with the x plus 5 squared in my box. I've got x squared, 5x, 5x, and 25. So this becomes j of x equals, bring down my 2. X plus 5 squared is the same as x squared plus 10x plus 25 in parentheses, and then I bring down my minus 40. Then I distribute the 2. I get 2x squared plus 20x plus 50. And then I get minus 40 comes down. And last but not least, my final answer is 2x squared plus 20x plus 10. Okay, so those are those 4 examples. And hopefully now, even if you wanted to follow along on all 4 of those, you're feeling more confident. And I do want you to pause the video and try numbers 1 through 4 at the bottom. What I'm going to do first is write the answers first, and then I'll go back and show the work, so that your first step, after you pause the video, turn it on, and you should be able to watch for about a minute just to check to see if you got the right answers. If you didn't get a right answer, your job would be to continue to watch the video to see the work that I showed to catch where you made a mistake. Okay, so pause the video now and come back after you finish all 4 of these problems. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do first is for number 1, I'm just going to write what I got as my final answer. I got f of x equals negative 3x squared minus 12x minus 4. For number 2, so I'll circle that, I got f of x equals 5x squared minus 20x plus 31. For number 3, I got f of x equals negative 4x squared minus 8x minus 1. And for number 4, I got f of x equals x squared plus 14x plus 50. So if you got all 4 of those correct, you are done with this video. You can turn it off and then go to your homework assignment or your practice assignment, which is Converting Vertex Form Day 2 homework, and try those 6 questions, 5 examples of this, and then 1 review question. If, however, you got any of these wrong, I need you to stick with the video to watch the steps I took to get each of those answers. And then we'll go there. Reminder that you want to finish both homework worksheets that you got today by the time you come to class tomorrow. Okay, so let's look at number 1. Again, the first thing I would do is the x plus 2 squared. When I have a problem like this, I just do it kind of off to the side. I get x squared, 2x, 2x, and 4. So my next step becomes negative 3, x squared plus 4x plus 4. Bring down the plus 8. Okay, so I did these, brought this down, and brought this down. Next step, I distributed. So I had negative 3x squared minus 12x minus 12. Brought down the plus 8. And then that got me to adding like terms, which is negative 3x squared minus 12x minus 4 when I add these together. And that is what I got as my final answer. Number 2, again, off on the side, I will deal with the x minus 2 squared. So I put an x minus 2 on each side of my box. Find the area of each little box. So I got x squared, negative 2x, and 4. Go back to my problem, bring down the 5. Put this in parentheses, x squared, negative 2x, and negative 2x is negative 4x plus 4. And then I bring down my plus 11. Next step, I distribute that 5. I get 5x squared. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20x. 5 times 4 is plus 20. And then I bring down the plus 11. Last step, I add these two terms together. I got 5x squared minus 20x plus 31, which is what I got for that answer I showed you. So hopefully if you had a mistake on either one of those, you were able to catch it and see where you went wrong. And now I'll show the final 2 examples. X plus 1 squared here, I deal with that. I have an x plus 1 and an x plus 1. X squared, 1x, 1x, and 1. So once again, I bring down that number in front, the negative 4. I have x squared, 1x plus 1x is plus 2x, plus 1, bring down my plus 3. Next step, I distribute the negative 4 to all 3 pieces. Negative 4x squared minus 8x minus 4, bring down the plus 3. And last step, combine like terms, negative 4x squared minus 8x minus 1 when I do a negative 4 plus 3, which is what I got. And finally, this one I guess was maybe a little bit different. I have the x plus 7 squared, x plus 7, x plus 7. I have x squared, 7x, 7x, and 49. Now the big thing here is there is no number in front to bring down. If you wanted to, you could put a 1 there and distribute the 1 through, but you may just recognize that it doesn't matter. So if I have x squared plus 14x plus 49 plus 1, okay? Again, if you wanted to put a 1 in here, you could distribute it through, but it doesn't change anything. So you would still have x squared plus 14x plus 49, and then you just do the 49 plus 1. So it's x squared plus 14x plus 50. Alright, thank you so much. Like I said, your job now is to go and work on converting your quadratics worksheet into standard form. And your job by tomorrow is to finish both that worksheet and your multiplying polynomials homework worksheet. Thank you.